Piggy is a popular horror-based escape room game on Roblox, well known for its mysterious storyline, spanning 12 unique chapters or maps in the first section, with a sequel currently being made to continue where it left off. But what made Piggy so successful is not as simple as having a creative story and fun gameplay. To find out why, we have to step back a few years to uncover the truth of ROBLOX Piggy's success. The main developer of Piggy is MiniToon, who joined the Roblox platform in 2011. According to MiniToon during one of his live streams, for his first 3 years on Roblox, he experimented with a lot of free models, which led to the creation of a game in 2014 called Five Nights at Chuck E. Cheese. This would be his first game to surpass 100,000 visits, causing him to meet other developers who would teach him more about creating games on Roblox. For the next few years, he continued improving, working on both his scripting and building skills across various projects. It wasn't until 2016 where everything began to change. MiniToon took the quality of his games to the next level, branching away from free models to develop Site35 Foundation Facility and Containment Breach, revolving around paranormal activity and the SCP Foundation genre of games. During this process, he met a fellow Roblox developer by the name of Ikeas in 2017, who wanted to help build for Containment Breach. MiniToon ended up hiring her after seeing how insanely detailed and polished Ikea's projects were, who would end up helping out with future games, including Piggy. But after all of this work over years of developing, how did MiniToon suddenly make Piggy become the second most played game on Roblox in less than a year? To start, the idea for Piggy came one day when he was playing a random free-modeled game that had Peppa Pig chasing players around the map. MiniToon wanted to improve upon that idea, as he realized he could have even more fun with friends and get better at creating Roblox games while he was at it. So he tossed together a bare-bones version of the game across 1 week, borrowing some things from older projects of his, along with taking inspiration from the game known as Granny, turning Piggy into an escape room-styled game. It wasn't long until popular Roblox YouTubers would come across this game, with the most notable one being Flamingo, having just over 4 million subscribers at the time. He created a video about the game on February 1st, 2020, when the game hadn't even reached 100 likes yet, which was only a day or two after Piggy's initial release. As his video took off and others started making videos about it, much of the Roblox community was aware of this game, and the player count had catapulted to a whopping 50,000 concurrent players by the end of the month. This was extremely important, as it meant that MiniToon didn't have to invest into advertising if he was thinking about it in the first place, when everyone else was already doing it for him, allowing him to focus on improving the game in a way that would make it unique and set it apart from those who believed it was just another Granny-type game that would just go away. But this wasn't easy, as the game had grown astronomically fast, being available on PC, mobile, and console, and there was no way that MiniToon would be able to satisfy every single player. However, he understood this and still made the most of the opportunities he was given, consistently fixing bugs, adding brand new maps, character skins, features, and more, some of which came from community suggestions, and others were on his own accord or from other developers he was working with. But what was setting Piggy apart from everything else on Roblox? One of the major contributing factors to this is the diversity of players that the game was able to reach. In order to explain, let's start by taking a look at the overall gameplay. During the game, each player can work together in order to find items that will help them escape the map. There are different colored locks on doors, along with hint bubbles that appear in certain places, which let the players know what item needs to be used there. And with the release of Piggy's sequel, MiniToon introduced colorblind mode as an accessibility feature to make it easier for players to distinguish between similar colored items. While the players roam around the map, Piggy chases everyone around and tries to stop them from escaping. To make sure that Piggy isn't too powerful, players are able to evade or slow down Piggy by crawling through vents that only players can use, well, for the most part, closing a door on the bot, which will take a few seconds for it to get through, using tools in order to freeze them in place, and even by giving friendly NPC characters certain items in order to temporarily stop Piggy. These mechanics allow for cooperative gameplay and ensures that the game isn't too difficult for the average player. Additionally, in order to prevent the game from getting repetitive, there are 5 different game modes to choose from. However, all of them have that same objective. The main differences between each one come down to who the enemies are. In the bot game mode, there's only one Piggy, which is controlled by the game. In other ones, such as player and player plus bot, someone else in the game will be able to control Piggy and eliminate other players from the round. Similarly, there's traitor mode, which allows one player to go undercover and try to stop everyone else from completing the map. These different game modes introduce optional competition to the game while still maintaining the aspect of working together as a team. The last game mode is Infection, which turns players into the Piggy model or skin they have equipped upon dying. Speaking of skins, the game has a shop that allows you to purchase different Piggy models for use in some game modes, which is completely cosmetic. There's also a section for traps while playing as Piggy or a traitor, which have different abilities. All of these can be purchased with Piggy tokens that can be obtained by using any of the methods shown on the screen, all of which, except for one, can be completed by simply playing the game. This means that players don't have to worry about spending money in order to obtain something inside of the game, along with the fact that anything you can purchase for Robux does not provide unfair advantages that substantially ruin any part of the game. But after playing something for a long time, no matter if you spend money on it or not, gameplay can get boring over time for some players, which is what the storyline can make up for. MiniToon has created the story for Piggy in a very open-ended manner, which allows for each player to be creative and come up with their own theories for what comes next or why something happened. This was accomplished in several different ways, and in order to find out how it all works together, let's take a look at the first 2 chapters of the game. It starts off with the player getting out of a police car to investigate a house for a missing individual by the name of George, based off of the cutscene text. The player gets knocked out, brought inside, and has to escape the house. After escaping, more information about the story and what may come next is explained, which in the case of Chapter 1, it shows that the player is going back to the police station to get more help. This allows the viewer to understand the connection between the 2 chapters, understanding the reasoning for going to the police station, rather than a random scene change. However, not much is known about the overall story at this point quite yet. Throughout many of the following chapters, different methods of storytelling are utilized, with the first one being features around the map. This primarily comes in the form of anonymous notes scattered around the area, which introduces new ideas for each player that reads them, as the messages can be interpreted in different ways. Additionally, the music utilized within the game has been tailored specifically for Piggy, created by Beastlick, aka Bobby Yarselik, which means that the tone MiniToon wanted to be created during certain cutscenes or chapters was able to be achieved to greater detail, providing another element that should be considered when understanding the story. After completing Chapter 2, the cutscenes become more in-depth. All of them are unique, providing insight of different characters within the story, all of which have different personalities and backstories that are usually explained indirectly to ensure that the storyline isn't too rigid, and that there is always more room for the player to continue being curious. This constant curiosity is what reels many players into coming back for more, which is where MiniToon tends to do a fantastic job when it comes to teasing new updates. For example, prior to the release of Chapter 12, MiniToon occasionally posted sneak peeks of the new map, along with quotes that are relevant to the main storyline, eventually leaving it with a picture frame containing the main family of Piggy characters with the date and time. This incited a lot of hype within the community, and by the time the day came for the update to be released, everyone was ready to play. It launched the game to the #1 spot on the Roblox game page, reaching over 500,000 users playing the game at the same time. However, this was also a result of other members of the community and their efforts and dedication to the game, such as Creekcraft, who regularly live streamed and created content about the game, oftentimes spending hours upon hours trying to figure out many mysteries, even reaching over 100,000 viewers at a time while trying to complete what is known as the true ending in the final chapter. The magnitude at which players were hoping to figure this out was incredible, captivating individuals who might not have been interested in the storyline at all because of how MiniToon incorporated it into the game. In order for it to be completed, you had to start on a previous chapter and play a specific game mode. Right before escaping the map, one player could take a picture that is found under a car in the corner of the map to bring it with them into the final chapter. Without failing, they would then need to complete the last chapter as normal all the way until the final cutscene options, where you have two different choices. One option is to walk with George outside of the facility, leading to the good ending, and the other one is typically obtained by walking over to Mr. P in the center of the room, which would grant the player the bad ending. However, by bringing that picture that was obtained from a previous chapter over to Mr. P, it would unlock the true ending, which explains what caused the entire storyline to begin in the first place, detailing the motives of Mr. P and ultimately understanding his perspective of the situation and why he decided to go through with the actions that he took. Providing messages such as these within the storyline were very intentional decisions made by MiniToon, as stated in one of his Q&A live streams.
Why is your game so depressing? It's about perspectives. I want to teach a lesson that generally in real life, arguments are usually made through not seeing through someone's perspective. Half of the game is chasing Mr. P because you think he was doing this intentionally or he was the bad guy all along, which he was, but he was doing it for a good cause. Like, that's really realized in the last few moments of chapter 12, where he tells you that he was trying to like make things right, but ended up making them worse. So that's why it's kind of depressing, because, well, not really why it's depressing, but like I wanted a message through it that will teach people, you know, if you're not seeing through other people's perspectives, you might not get the full story of things, and you will never really fully understand what's going on.
After Mr. P explains his story, the player is brought back to the good ending, where it is left on a cliffhanger. But this still doesn't cover everything, as Piggy has accomplished something that many games have never been able to do before. Certain aspects or game modes have created countless other sub-communities that enjoy the game from a new perspective. However, the first of which is possible in many games, which is speedrunning. Some players like to complete the game or certain objectives as fast as possible, which tends to get competitive fairly quickly. After Piggy started to get popular, speedruns for the game started appearing, which brought it into the eyes of more individuals who may not have had any particular interest in the gameplay or storyline at all. Additionally, during late June of 2020, MiniToon and another developer by the name of Optic introduced build mode into the game, which allowed players to create their own renditions of a Piggy map. It didn't matter if you wanted to create a map where the objective would be to escape either, as it leaves it free for customization to each player. This sandbox element enables many users to see their builds brought to life without having to worry about the scripting elements of anything in the game, improving the immersion and creative experiences that someone is able to have. And if this didn't happen to interest you either, around the same time build mode was released, another contributor for Piggy by the name of Tenuous Flea created a separate game called Accurate Piggy Roleplay, which allows users to play as any character from the Piggy universe that they would like, along with creating their own custom skins and roleplay on any map from the original game. But there is still something else that has truly solidified the experiences that players have been able to get out of the game, and that is MiniToon's relationship with his community. While he and the developers he's worked with have managed to make a game that can be competitive or casual, scary enough where you can laugh it off after it happens, has a fantastic storyline with lots of room for community input, and so much more, he has cultivated a community of individuals that have all become interested in the game that was originally intended to be a small project for fun. The interactions he's had with fans of his are absolutely wholesome. He regularly answers questions, responds to fan art, along with providing advice for those going through difficult times, demonstrating how down-to-earth of an individual MiniToon is. Regardless of your opinion on the game, community, and anything else related to its presence on Roblox at all, it's safe to say that it has had a remarkable impact on the platform in such a short span of time, and there's still so much more that's waiting to be discovered.